I always thought my family was like any other, imperfect, yes, but rooted in love and understanding. How naive I was. Looking back, I realize how blind we were to the creeping shadows that lurked just beyond our perception, waiting to engulf us in their cold embrace. It all began with a seemingly innocent event, a prediction by my 4-year-old daughter that would unravel the very fabric of our lives. I was about 20 weeks pregnant with my third child when it happened. My 2 daughters, Lily and Emma, were 4 and 1, respectively. Lily was excited about the new baby, often talking to my belly as if she could coax her future sibling into the world with her sweet voice. One day, as I was building a fire in the fireplace, Lily sat spinning in a large office chair, her tiny frame almost swallowed by its enormity. "Okay, Lily Bean," I asked casually, "who do you think is in Mommy's tummy? A baby brother or another baby sister?" Without missing a beat, she continued spinning and answered, "Oh, Mama, that baby ain't gonna come out of your tummy. That baby is gonna stay in heaven." "It's okay," her words sent a chill down my spine. I scolded her, stopping her from spinning and asking why she would say such a thing. Her response was simple, "Because I know." Her innocent demeanor unnerved me, but I brushed it off, attributing it to the whimsical nature of children. That afternoon, my husband and I went to our ultrasound appointment, the anticipation turning to dread when the doctor couldn't find a heartbeat. Our baby was gone. The ride home was a silent torment, my husband writing off Lily's prediction as a child's odd intuition. 2 days later, I had a DE procedure, and with it, I decided my baby-building days were over. But the shadows had only begun to weave their tapestry of terror. Time passed, the pain dulled but never fully healed. My husband and I moved to a new house, hoping for a fresh start. The house was old but charming, with enough space for our growing family. Shortly after settling in, my husband came to me with news that changed everything. He had fallen in love with another woman and wanted to leave. Devastated, I was left to pick up the pieces with our daughters in tow. Years later, I met a new partner who had 2 little girls of his own. We blended our families and moved into a house together, hoping to forge a new beginning from the ashes of our pasts. My partner's youngest daughter was born soon after, her arrival a bright spot in our otherwise troubled lives. Yet, the house we moved into held secrets of its own, secrets that would soon seep into our lives with a malevolent force. One night, as I was feeding our newborn, I heard his distinctive cry, a pterodactyl scream, as my partner called it, coming from upstairs. Confused, I looked down to see the baby still in my arms, sound asleep. The cry echoed again, sending a wave of cold terror through me. My partner and I exchanged bewildered looks, neither of us willing to acknowledge the impossible. The house seemed to breathe with a life of its own, whispering fears into our ears and twisting our reality. My older daughters began to sense it too, the unsettling feeling that we were not alone. Our pets acted strangely, their eyes fixed on corners of the room as if watching unseen entities move about. The atmosphere grew heavier, and the air colder, our home becoming a prison of dread. One particularly harrowing night, I was jolted awake by the sound of my deceased father's voice calling my name. Trembling, I followed the voice to the basement, where an icy draft swirled around me despite the warm summer night. There, I saw a figure standing in the shadows, its form shifting and indistinct. As I approached, it vanished, leaving behind an overwhelming sense of despair and hopelessness. The next morning, I found scratch marks on my arms, as if something had clawed at me in the night. My daughters had similar marks, and we all woke up feeling drained, our energy sapped by some unseen force. I confided in my partner, who revealed that he had experienced similar events in his previous home, leading him to believe that something sinister had followed him. Desperate for answers, we sought the help of a paranormal investigator. He told us that our home was a beacon for lost souls, attracted to the residual energy of our grief and pain. The investigator performed a cleansing ritual, but the activity only intensified. Objects moved on their own, disembodied voices whispered in our ears, and the feeling of being watched became unbearable. One night, as I was sitting in the living room, I saw the woman in black for the first time. She was dressed in an old-fashioned lace dress, her face obscured by a veil. She stared at me from the corner of the room, her presence radiating a hunger for something I couldn't comprehend. My heart raced as I watched her, unable to move or speak. She appeared more frequently after that, always silent, always watching. She seemed to feed off our fear, growing stronger with each passing day. My partner and I began to argue constantly, the stress of the haunting taking its toll on our relationship. The children were scared to sleep alone, their dreams plagued by visions of the woman in black and the shadowy figures that roamed the house. In a desperate attempt to escape, we decided to move. As we packed our belongings, the house seemed to come alive with fury. Doors slammed shut, windows shattered, and the walls shook with an otherworldly force. On our final night, I dreamt of my grandfather, who had passed away years before. He spoke to me, his voice calm and reassuring. "You must face the darkness," he said. "Only then will you find peace." The next day, we left the house for good, but the memories of our time there haunted us. I often wondered if the spirits had followed us or if they remained trapped within those walls, waiting for their next victims. The experience left us scarred, our family forever marked by the darkness we encountered. Years later, my daughters and I often talked about the events in that house, trying to make sense of what happened. The memories were like shadows, always lurking at the edges of our minds, a constant reminder of the thin veil between our world and the next. As I sit here writing this, I feel a chill in the air, and I can't help but glance over my shoulder. The past is never truly behind us, and sometimes, the ghosts of our lives are closer than we think. The darkness may have left our home, but it never truly left us. It lingers still, a haunting presence that reminds us of the terror that once consumed our lives.